back in the day, I wanna go back. Let's go back to 2013, right? 2013 is when I joined the bank. I'm not gonna name the bank, but I did join a bank, right? A large bank, and I used to wear a suit and tie, right? Every day to work, right? So from 2013 to 2018, I was part of this bank. And listen, I wasn't just a typical banking employee. All right. I was all about that life. I was all about that banking life, right? I was a hardcore banker for that bank, right? Everything that bank did, everything from, the small things to the big international things that they did, I was a big advocate for. And, I had my dreams to move up the corporate ladder and do all sorts of things, right? I was all about that, like within retail banking and wealth management, I was all about that life. Anyone who knew me while I used to be in banking, they would tell you, right? I was a very proud person of the bank, right? I liked what I did, and I was set to work at that bank till I retire, right? And that was it. Well, unfortunately, what happened was back in 2000, I want to say 2018 in February, there was a colleague of mine, right? She was in a different position, but we were somewhat colleagues. She was in one of the branches that I worked at. And what happened was that this particular colleague, she wanted to move up, right? She wanted to do what I did. And at the time in 2018, I did like wealth management, relationship management. Basically I took care of accounts and households with a certain level of assets, right? And she wanted to do what I did. So she wanted to move up. And, she was hungry. She was extremely like a go-getter. Like, she was focused. Now, there were times when she was a little crazy and her emotions got the best of her. But for the most part, I tried to see the good in her, right? And she wanted to move up. And she wanted to sort of join the team that I was a part of, right? Because at the time I was very well liked, right, within the bank. So if I put your name up, if I put your name up and I say, hey, this person is good, they're qualified, they have a lot of potential, you should move this person up to a higher position, that wasn't taken lightly, right? And I didn't say these things lightly. So in essence, I took her under my wing, right? And I not only did I mentor her or teach her how to do things, I also worked with her, right? There were certain situations where we would work on certain deals and certain clients together, and we had a good relationship. And outside the bank, we were also friends, right? I would introduce her to some of my friends. I would introduce her to certain circles, and overall, she was what I thought a person at the time. At the time, she was a person that I thought would benefit me in the long run, right? Because if I put you under my wing, right, I want to see you grow. I don't want to see you fail, right? I want to see you grow. And as you grow and as you gain recognition within the bank, my name value goes up as well, right? Because I was a person that sort of brought this person up. So it was in my best interest to make sure, if everyone knew in the bank, oh, this person, this banker is under, I don't want to say under, but Jonathan is mentoring this certain banker. It's very important that she does well. What happened was this certain individual got a little bit too greedy, right? She wanted to grow within the banking structure a lot faster. She wanted to just kind of cut corners and do things that weren't quite within business ethical guidelines. Like, she sort of moved out of that, right? She did it because she wanted to, she wanted to grow faster. She wanted more name recognition. She wanted this, she wanted that. And I get all that, right? But I was also, at the time when I was in the bank, I was very cutthroat, right? Like, if you want to grow, if you want to get more business, you have to follow certain rules. You have to follow certain structures, right? And within that structure, I can help you thrive. But if you deviate from that and you start doing things that are kind of shady. They're not super unethical, but it's not right. If you start doing things like that, that's not good with me, right? Because if I'm mentoring you and you're doing that, that looks bad on me. So in 2018, February, I approached her. I said, look, what you're doing is not right, right? I know you want to grow. I know you want to do this, but you can't cut corners and you have to go the path that is given to you, right? You have to do the work. And I know I'm being vague in like what work and what, look, it's all banking terms. I don't want to bore you with that. The main idea is that she was deviating from the path, right? She was deviating from the normal line of work that she was supposed to do to try to get ahead. And I wasn't okay with that. So I called her out on it, right? I called her out and I said, look, you can't be doing this. And she took that very personal, right? I think, like I said, she's an emotional human being, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Some human beings are more emotional than others. She took that and she took it the wrong way, right? She didn't like the way I approached her. She didn't like the way I sort of called her out. I mean, I didn't call her out in front of people, but I did approach her and I said, look, you can't be doing it this way, right? It was a one-on-one meeting. And over time, like in March, it got a little worse, right? She's just doing things that were just pissing me off here and there. So I had to call a meeting with her boss, and a couple of other people, and I wanted to sit together because I was genuinely concerned that she wasn't doing the right thing within the bank, right? Now, she took that meeting that I called, and she was not happy with it, right? She didn't. First of all, she didn't show up to the meeting. Matter of fact, she called HR. She called HR on me, and she said, "I'm not comfortable." Well, the reason she said that she's not going to join the meeting is because I'm not comfortable in that meeting. I want an HR representative there with me, within the meeting that I called with her and her boss. I said, "Okay, bring the HR representative. You want to take it, to HR? Let's do it, right?" Because in my head, I'm thinking, if you take this to HR, you're the only person that's going to look bad because you're doing things, all right, that are not within banking guidelines, right? Why do you want to expose that, right? We want to keep this in-house. Now, she calls HR. I get a call maybe about a week later, and it's the HR department, and they're calling me, and I was ready, right? I was about to explain what's going on, and if she wants to really go to war with me, let's go to war. All right, bitch, let's go to war. So I get the call, and the HR person says, is this Jonathan? I said, yes, it is. And look, this is let's just say her name is Sonia, right? I am Sonia, the senior human relations person, right? She's like some senior HR person. And I'm thinking, okay, like is this such an issue where you had to bring like the top person within the bank's HR? And I said, okay. How can I help? And she was like, do you know what allegations you are being charged with, right? Do you know what you're being accused of? And I said, yes, I know. I'm being accused of, making this certain colleague feel uncomfortable by calling a meeting to, discuss certain issues where she was breaking banking protocols. And the HR person says, well, I don't know anything about that, but you're being, I'm calling you because there are some serious concerns about sexual harassment to this individual. And I said, excuse me? Sexual harassment? Sexual harassment? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Right? So now I'm thinking, now it's like, as I'm on that phone conversation, now it's all coming back to me, right? Now it's all not coming back to me, but now I'm seeing what's going on. She called HR on me as in a way of like a retaliation, right? Like, in her head, she's thinking, oh, you're gonna call me out on what I'm doing. Okay, you're gonna call me out. Okay, well, this is how I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna call HR on you and say you sexually harassed me. So, long story short, that was probably in April. There was an investigation. There was not really an investigation. And in July, I had a call with my boss, and they said, "Look, John, me and the bank and you, we've come to a decision where we wanted to part ways." right? We wanted to part ways. Now, first, so let me get a couple of things clear, okay? She called HR on me in retaliation, right, of me calling her out on doing certain things. And I'm not totally, I mean, of course I was mad at the time, right? I was totally, broken at the time. And I had to really think about it. And I was like, was this really my fault? Was this really my fault that I've pushed this person to do this absolute bullshit HR call? And, the lesson that I kind of learned from that whole situation coming out of it was, I was too into this concept of loyalty, right? Because in the bank, and this is how, and I still operate to this day, but I obviously operate with more caution. At the bank, if you are supporting me and you're part of my team and I'm mentoring you or training you or helping you get to wherever you want to be, right? And you're loyal to me, then I'll be loyal to you to the end, right? Because that's something, I don't know why that's such a big thing to me, right? Within relationships, friendships, whatever relationship with other people, to me, loyalty is the absolute way of saying that there is this sort of bond, right? This love between human to human. It's this sense of loyalty, right? A lot of people don't get it. It's irrational. I get it, but to me, look, that's who I am. So now, for her who I thought was loyal to me, who I gave my loyalty to, for her to sort of break ranks and do this to me at the height. Remember, guys, this is 2018, right? 2018, February, March, April. You have to understand the times, right? You have to understand what's going on in the news at the time, right? In the news, you had Harvey Weinstein popping out. You had famous news anchors, famous actors. Me Too movement was going wild. All right, there was a series. There was a series of high profile people coming out and saying, that they were sorry and they were being accused and people were getting fired, canceled, whatever, right? And at that time, I remember the phone call. One of the phone calls that I had with the HR person, she said, "Do you understand the severity of the accusation? And are you watching the news, Jonathan? Do you see what's going on in the world? Do you know how serious this is?" And I'm like, "Yes, I know what's going on in the world. Yes, I know what kind of allegations are being thrown at me. Of course I know." Right. And of course I denied everything, and there was this quote unquote investigation. It was set up so where at the time, if anybody within the bank or certain corporations, if you're being called out and there was this power dynamic, right, of a more senior person to a less senior person, the senior person is a male, the less senior person is a female, and there was any sort of sexual harassment allegations, then your ass was out, okay? There was investigations, but not really, right? There was a lot of cases like that. And unfortunately, look, I'm not discrediting the Me Too movement, right? Like certain people, they need to, look, they fucked up and you get caught and you deserve what you deserve, okay? At the same time, there were a lot of people, including myself, who got caught in that mix of that crazy, let's get everybody time. And I was unfortunately one of those victims, right? It is what it is, okay? Now, look, why am I sharing this? I've learned a lot, right? I mean, I've had a lot. This was 2018, right? And the bank had said fuck off in 2018 July. And I had to really think. I had to really reassess who I invite in my life to either mentor or train or just as friends, whatever it may be. And I had to be really careful of how I did it, especially with women, right? And especially I learned in the workplace, don't make unnecessary, not unnecessary, but if you could avoid the situation that I just went through, avoid it, right? If there is someone that wants to move up, she looks a little unstable and she even with the even let's say she was stable, right? Let's say this person is stable. You're a male and you're in a more senior position, and she comes to you, or you come to a place where you want to help her move up. The lesson I got from it was, if you can, right? If you're not obligated to do so, don't do it. Don't go out of your way to do that, right? Because unfortunately, you are opening yourself up to some ridiculous allegations, right? If things go sour. Now, I'm not saying they do go sour. I'm not saying that senior male and non-senior female relationships within the office, right, for mentorship or whatever it may be, I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. But, ever since the whole Me Too thing, men, you got to be a little bit more careful. Okay, you may trust this colleague, you may trust this person, but you really don't know, right? If things go sour, you don't know how things are going to play out. And especially if you're in a position of power, especially if you're in a position of authority, right? You got to be careful. If you're in a big corporate structure, you got to be careful. All right. So I hope you guys learned something about me with that story. I mean, that is a true story. And I know I didn't go into all the details. If you want more details, reach out to me. I'll tell you more details. But look, this episode is not really about that specific story.